Anyone know what is the difference between this single versus this double quotes? So let me give you an example. Okay, if I write this to a special variable called shell versus if I write it like this. Anyone know what is the difference between the two? What is the difference between like writing it in a single quote versus writing it in a double quotes? Let's try to execute it. Echo $shell. Anyone see any difference like when I executed it with single quotes versus a double quotes? Yes. Yes. So it's basically something called command interpretation. If I use single quotes versus the double quotes. So let me show you. Okay. So here, if you can see, in case of a single quote, whatever the value we have put it over here, that it got preserved. Like you guys know that this $shell has a special meaning for shell. It will tell you like what is the shell in which you are running this particular system, right? What is the default shell for the system? Also, if you look at here, if you write that, if you execute the command env, you will see the bunch of the variable which has been set when you run your system, right? So one such is, for example, echo $path. Okay. So when you execute any script or any command, basically this ls command will look inside this path variable and see where exactly this ls command is present or the various shells commands are present. But if you use it with single quote means preservation of the literal value. Whatever the value we are putting it over here, we need exactly like this. So the use case of this, in some cases, for example, you want just to get this printed. So in that case, you can use the single quote. But if you want the exact value, the interpretation of this value, then in that case, you need to use our double quotes. Okay. So in case of a single quotes, these special characters, for example, in this case, dollar, does not have any meaning. They are literally spitting it out on the screen. Whereas in case of a double quotes, these has a special meaning. Like whatever the exact value of this, that is going to be interpreted on the screen. So that is the difference between a single or double quote. Single quote means preservation of this literal value, and the special character does not have any meaning. Whereas in double quotes, you are getting actually called a command substitution. That particular command is getting substituted and the output is being displayed to a screen. And we are not preserving the meaning of the special character. We are actually interpreting it and outputting the value of that particular command. Okay.